Hi everyone, this is John and Eric Iams. Today we're joined with PRRT Master Instructor Tara O'Kelly. Hi Tara.
Hi, Tara.
Hi, Eric. Hi, John.
Tara, could you start with just giving the watchers a little bit about your background and how you got started with PRRT?
Sure. I'm a physiotherapist. I trained here in Ireland, graduating in 1992. With regard to PRRT, I traveled to various places, but in about 2006, when I was living in the United States, I found myself in the unfortunate situation of chronic pain, mainly in the form of headaches, daily headaches that required essentially prescription pain medication every day. I'd never had a headache before. They came on all of a sudden. Anyway, CAT scan revealed that one of my sinuses was completely blocked, and so they attributed this to the source of my headache. We tried nasal sprays, antibiotics, various forms of treatment to try to clear the sinus, and when nothing was working, my ENT specialist recommended that I needed the surgery to have my sinus cleared. During that time, around about that time, I spoke to a friend of mine who told me about a little bit about PRRT. She had just started, well, she hadn't started studying it. She had been studying it for about 6 months, and she invited me to her house for the weekend to see if it could do anything. And so I felt it was worthwhile. I traveled down on the Friday evening. She treated me. On the Saturday morning, I only had a very, very mild headache, not even requiring any medication. Treated me again. The following day, I had absolutely no headache. And then I came back to where I was living at the time, and I went in for my pre-op appointment about 5 days later. And I told the ENT specialist that I hadn't had a headache for 5 days. And this has been the first time in 6 months that I hadn't had a headache. And he assured me my sinus was still completely blocked and that my pain would return. But I decided to take my chances and I cancelled the surgery, and I still have never had a headache. So that's what got me into it, and I felt this is something that I need to know more about, and that's what sparked my interest in PRRT.
Right. Awesome. And so you had great results with it. Can you give the viewers a sense of what other kind of results, now that you've gone through all the trainings and you're teaching it yourself, what kind of results you're seeing?
It just the outcomes in oftentimes can be absolutely dramatic, and in comparison as well to some of my experience that I just spoke about, is quite often pain can take on a bit of a life of its own. In my instance, the pathology remains, but the pain is gone. And this is what we see. We see so many people who are involved in stress, pain, trauma, and imaging can be fantastic and stuff, but sometimes the pain has moved or shifted or is not explained at all, especially in those traumatic and stressful events. And PRRT can be absolutely invaluable, particularly when their startle reflex has been activated through either an emotional event or a physical trauma, such as a car accident or a fall.
Right. Yeah. For those wondering how PRRT integrates with other modalities, other things they've learned, do they have to give up what they've learned up to now in order to be able to integrate PRRT with their clinic?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
At level 1, you learn the 1-minute nociceptive exam, which I still do on practically every person who walks through the door, and it is what we say, 1 minute. It is so quick. And it gives you just an idea of where to start, what areas might be involved, how pain might have traveled, and the PRRT techniques themselves are so quick and so easy to integrate, and so easy on not only on the client, they're easy on the practitioner as well. Easy to implement, you can seamlessly. I mean, a lot of times the patient doesn't even know what you're doing, and you can just integrate into what you're already doing absolutely easily.
Great. Yeah. Now, can they begin using PRRT immediately after the level 1 training?
And that's the key.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've always said, I've done many seminars, over my years and my days and stuff. And one of the things I know that John always encourages is to try to start it immediately. And it's the first seminar that I was ever at where I felt, oh my goodness, I can actually go home and on Monday morning do this on absolutely everybody. And it's something I promised myself when I flew back to California from Colorado. I said, I'm going to do this 1-minute nociceptive exam on the primals on everybody. And even if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter, because the whole thing is going to take me about 3 or 4 minutes. And if you just do it on everybody, then you can grow and develop and see where you're going from there. And even if it's pretty hard to mess up, actually, but even if you do, really, isn't it? And I was like going, even if I mess it up, I mean, I've only wasted about 3 or 4 minutes. And the results and the impact is just so immediate and so fantastic and so dramatic in an awful lot of cases. I'm not saying every case that walks through the door, but I'm saying an awful lot of cases who are in this heightened sympathetic state. If you can get to calm them down, the results can be instantaneous and in many cases quite dramatic.
Right. Yeah. And what I like to remind people, the beauty of PRRT is with level 1, you're getting the full body covered, head to toe as far as your techniques. So you're not having to break it up and go to different trainings for, 6 different weekends to get the whole body.
Absolutely. And this sometimes is a concern of potential attendees who were looking at stuff. It's like, oh my goodness, am I going to have to do 4 or 5 levels before I can become competent in this?
Right.
And I assure them, absolutely not. After level 1, you have such a high level of competency because of the significance of the 6 primals, which are the first 6 techniques that you learn, and they are so global and so holistic and so effective that you've learned an awful lot in just the level 1 seminar is a day and a half, and you learn an awful lot in that time.
Yeah, you just said level 1's a day and a half. Level 2 is 2 full days?
2 full days, yes, yeah, yes. Right. I typically do them over a Saturday, Sunday. Mm-hmm. 2 full days for level 2 and 1, and well, it's a little bit longer than a day and a half for level 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at the time of filming this, you've already had a couple register for your upcoming courses. So I know that you like to keep the programs small. So if anyone out there is watching, they should definitely register today. I just want to wrap it up, see if you had any comments or thoughts.
Yeah, Tara, you really did a great job of sharing your experience with PRRT and what it's meant to you, not just personally, but for your patients and clients. The one thing I want to have you validate is that even if someone wants to integrate whatever other approaches that they've been trained in, either previously or down the road, that PRRT allows for this to occur, meaning you don't have to do just PRRT. You can blend PRRT with whatever else you do, so that it's not like a lot of techniques where you're supposed to give up everything else you've learned before and only do what they tell you to do. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, it's so quick. And like I said, even if you're just learning and even if you're just practicing, mm-hmm. do it and try it. Yeah. And if it gets so dramatic, you can delve into a little bit more. The other wonderful thing about PRRT is that it doesn't just teach you techniques, it teaches you a concept. And once you get the concept, you can go off all by yourself.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And John, I know you encourage that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You love practitioners to come to your seminars and say, oh, I thought about this, and how does that work? Because once you know the concept, you can just take it anywhere you like.
Yeah. Well, we could keep you here all afternoon talking about your experiences with PRRT, but I think this has been a great introduction to everyone there that's considering coming, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Tara.
Yeah.
No problem. Talk soon.
Thanks, Tara.